If you like my content, please like and click on the subscribe button. Click on the drop down and select all to see regular updates.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to cover another question. So we have a table called details where we have 4 columns, column 1, col 2, col 3 and score. And if you see the values, there are A, B in the first 3 rows. If you see, column 1 has A, B, C in the first row, and in the second row you have column 1 as B and column 2 as A and column 3 as C. And then the third row, column 1 is B, column 2 as C and column 3 as A. So basically all these 3 values are same. It's just that this A, B, C are present in 3 different columns and each of this combination has a score present. So the output is you need to merge all these 3 rows into a single row with the values A, B, C. The output should be in such a way that column 1, column 2 and column 3 should be in ascending order. And so you should consider these 3 rows as one row and you need to do the sum of the scores. So here A, B, C should show sum of 30 plus 20 plus 10, so which is 60. And here if you see A, B, D and A, D, B and A, P, C, so third row is different and so last row is different and this A, B, D and A, D, B are same. So you need to show these 2 rows as a single row like A, B, D, and you need to sum of 100 and 150 and show 250. And third row no other combination, so A, P, C. Since you need to show these values in ascending order like A, C and P, it should show 90. So this is the question. So if you are good at SQL, you can try to solve it with your own logic, and if you are stuck somewhere, you can watch this video till the end. So now let's go back to SQL Server Studio and see how to solve it and what is the logic that we need to apply in order to get this result. Before solving this question, let's try to understand what is the logic here. So here first what we need to do is, since we need to frame these 3 rows into a single row, what we need to do is we need to make sure that in column 1 we need to keep the lowest value. So whatever is the smallest value in this all these 3 columns, you should keep the smallest value here, and in the column 2 you need to keep the second smallest value or the middle value. So here A, B and C, B is the second smallest value, so you need to keep value B in column 2, and C in column 3 should have the largest value. So A, B, C in these 3 rows, C is the largest value, so in column 3 you need to keep C. So basically you need to write some case statements in such a way that column 1 should show the least value of all these 3 columns, column 2 should show the second least value of all these 3 columns, and column 3 should show the largest value of all these 3 columns. So that if we are able to write that particular case statement, you are able to solve this query easily. So now let's write that case statement. So first thing, so before going, so you can find this particular DML script and DDL script in the description of this video, so you can copy from that and practice on your own. So let's write the query. So select from details, so details is the table name, and as we have discussed, so case when, so column 1 should show the column 1 should show the least value, right? So when column 1 is less than column 2 and column 1 is less than column 3, then column 1. So what I am trying to do here is, so here in A, B and C first row, so if value A is less than column 2, which is value B, and column 1 value A is less than column 3, that means here column 1 is the smallest of column 1, column 2 and column 3, because column 1 is less than column 2 and column 1 is less than column 3. So that's why if this condition is satisfied, we will return column 1. Okay. Suppose if this condition does not satisfy, we have to write one more condition. So column 2 is less than column 1 and column 2 is less than column 3, then we will return column 2. Suppose if column 2 is less than both column 1 and column 3, then we have to return column 2. Okay. And similarly here, if this condition is also not satisfying, we have to say column 3. If column 3 is less than column 1 and column 3 is less than column 2, then we have to return column 3, right? So now we have to end this case statement and as column 1. Okay. So whatever this case statement returns, we will rename that particular column as column 1. So don't confuse this column 1 and this column 1, even though the name are different. Even though the name are same, the values will be different, because this particular column 1 after the case statement, this returns the value based on this computation. Okay. So, now if you run this, let us write a select star and see. Okay. So, if you write this select star, you will get this output. So, here in A, B, C, A is the smallest. So, column 1 A is returning, and here in B, A, C, B, A is the smallest. So, in column 1 A is returning, and again in B, C, A is the smallest. So, column 1 A is returning. So, for these 3 rows, A is the smallest. So, in column 1 A is returning. Now, in the same way, we have to write the second largest also. Okay. Second largest also. Now, here case when column 1 is greater than column 2 and column 1 is less than column 3, then column 1. So, here we are making sure that column 1 is greater than column 2 and column 1 is less than column 3. Okay. So, here this value it should be greater than either one of the column and should be less than one of the column. Okay. And here we have to write one more condition also, or we will copy this. So, here it is not necessary that column 1 should be greater than column 2 and column 1 should be less than column 3. Column 1 also can be greater than column 3 and column 1 also can be less than column 2, because if we write these two conditions, this will make sure that column 1 is either greater than column 2 or 3 and is either less than column 2, 3 or 2. Okay. And if this condition is satisfied, we will return column 1. Okay. We will if in the next condition, here if column 2 is greater than column 1 and column 2 is less than column 3, and here column 2 is greater than column 3 and column 2 is less than column 3, then we will return column 2. Okay. Similarly, we have to write for column 3 as well. Okay. So, here if column 3 is greater than column 1 and column 3 is less than column 2, and again here column 3 is greater than column 2 and column 3 is less than column 1. Okay. So, in that case we will return column 3. Okay. And as column 2. Okay. So, here we are making sure that one of the column is greater than the other column and should be less than the different column. So, we are writing all these combinations here. Okay. Column 2. Now, column 2 we have written, and now let us see if we are getting the required value. Okay. So, here if you see for the first 3 rows, B is the second smallest value, right? In all these 3 columns, B is the second smallest value. So, column 2 is returning B here, and also in these 2 rows, B is the second smallest value. So, B is getting written here, and in this row C is the second smallest value. So, C is getting written here. Okay. Now, we have to write column 3. So, column 3, so we have to keep the largest value. So, case when column 1 is greater than column 2 and column 1 is greater than column 3, then column 1. Okay. So, this column 1 of the columns should be greater than both the columns. Okay. So, that is the condition here. If this value satisfied, so here if column 2 is greater than column 1 and column 2 is greater than column 3, then column 2, here column 3. So, here if column 3 is greater than column 2 and column 3 is greater than column 1, then column 3. Okay. And as column 3. Okay. And here now let us do a select star. So, let us run this command. So, if you see here for the first 3 rows A, B, C, because C is the largest value. So, column 3 is shown C, and in the next 2 rows D is the largest value. So, in column 3 D is shown, and in the last row P is the largest value. So, value P is shown in column 3. Now, with this we have to remove these 3 columns. The first 3 columns we have to keep, and now we have to do the sum of score. Okay. So, what we can do is directly write sum of score as score. Okay. Since we are using aggregate function, we have to use group by. So, whatever logic we have written here, we have to keep it in group by. Okay. So, group by this, we need not name these columns. In group by, we have to remove this column naming. And now, if you run this query, this is what you get. So, ABC is giving 60, ABD is giving 250 and ACP is giving 90. So in this way we have to merge multiple rows based on the column values in the 3 columns and do the aggregation. So hope you all like this explanation and also my solution. So we can also solve this in another way. Also we can try using unpivot. So basically you can unpivot a single row into multiple rows and apply ranks and do those things. You can do that method also, but I prefer using case statement. Although this case statement has some problems, like if suppose say if you have only 3 columns here, say if you have said tomorrow you will have 10 columns here, and if you want to do this aggregation, case statement will not work, right? Because you have to write a lot of conditions. So in that case you need to unpivot and use the rank logic. So that is more better option, but for this problem I have used the case statement. So if you are interested, try solving this using the rank logic and unpivot logic and post your solution in comments. So if you like this video, please click on the like button and also click on subscribe button for more videos. Thank you. Have a nice day.